The supplies you'll need to make one of these 8-pointed stars is a pair of scissors, a pen or a pencil, a chopstick or a skewer, a small paintbrush, some glue. I'm using PVA glue, but any white glue will be fine. And then you need some paper. The paper that you can use for these is just simple office paper, anywhere from 20 pound, 24, and I know they even make a heavier one now that's 32 pound. And you can paint it yourself with some metallic paint if you like. Or you can use scrapbook paper. They have the 12 by 12 sizes or 8.5 by 11 that you can get, and it's the perfect weight. Or if you wanted to have more shiny paper like this and still use the scrapbook paper, you could always paint on top of that, like I did here. This is the same piece of paper, but I put a little glitter paint on there, if you can see that. The only thing I would recommend not using is cardstock, because I tried making one with this cardstock here. It's got kind of a gold on both sides, but when I did it, I could see that there was a little bit of cracking on the edges where I was kind of folding the paper. So I would probably stay away from the cardstock unless you're going to be making a really, really large star like this one here, which I did use cardstock for, but this is done with a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So you do need squares. So I'm starting with 2 square pieces of paper that are 6 by 6, and you're going to start with the good side facing up. Then we're just going to be folding it in half, bringing the bottom piece of paper up to the top and crease that fold. Open it up, turn it, and do the same thing, folding the bottom up to the top. Now you want to turn it over so that you have the good side down and have it facing you in kind of a diamond form here, because you're going to take this point and bringing up the bottom point and bringing it up to the top point. So match up those points there and then crease that. Open it up and then do the same thing with the other one. You want to have a crease going across here, so bring this bottom point up to this top point here. Okay, and then you're going to be doing exactly the same thing to this piece of paper. So I'll just do that quickly. I'm folding up. I want to have the good side facing up to start and folding that in half, giving it a crease, turning it, bringing the bottom up to the top again. Open it up. So then you want to turn your paper over so that you have a diamond shape here and bring this bottom point up to meet this top point. And crease that. And then again, give it a turn so that you can do the same thing across this direction here. So bringing the bottom point up to meet the top and then giving that a good crease. Now we have to decide how far down we're going to cut this. We're going to be making little cuts to the paper here, and to figure that out, a lot of directions tell you to measure from here to here and go a little bit less than half. I found that to be pretty inaccurate, and I wasn't able to get a good star with that. So what I do is we've got this crease down here in the middle, so I'm going to take this and fold it over, bringing this edge here to line up with this angle edge here. And I'm trying to make a nice sharp point here on this corner here. And then when I don't want to fold it all the way down, I want to fold it just to where that crease is of the other fold. And then when I open it up, you can see that the line here is meeting that middle line. So at that intersection, I'm going to mark that with a point, because that's where I'm going to be cutting to. So I'll just continue to do that all the way around. So I'll turn it this way, and I'm going to bring this edge here to meet that middle point. or that diagonal fold line. Again, trying to just work, you can work slowly and just kind of ease that point so that you get it nice and sharp there, lining up with that middle. And then again, you don't want to crease it all the way down your paper. You want to stop and pinch it right where that fold line is. Open it up. And again, I'm going to mark that because that's going to be the point that I'm going to cut to. Turn it, so I just got to do this 2 more times. Bring this edge over here to line up on that diagonal. Working that into a nice sharp point there. And then folding just to where that other fold line is. Open it up and mark that. And then the last one, again, same fold. Just to the other fold line. And then open that up. And I will go ahead and make a mark there. So now what I'm going to do is take my scissors and I'm going to cut from the edge to each of those dots all the way around on the crease line. If you have trouble seeing that crease line, you can kind of pinch it again just to make it a little bit easier to see. And then I'm just going to cut just to where that point is. And do that on all 4 sides. Now you can go ahead and just fold these in. You've got 4 of your folds already done for you. And this part's a little bit easier because all you're going to be doing is taking this edge and bringing it in to line up with this edge here of this fold that you've already made. And again, we want to try to make a nice sharp point there and meeting the papers in the middle. And crease that down. So it's going to look like that. You've got these 2 flaps down like this. And then just turn it and keep doing that for the other 3. Again, bringing this edge here in to meet the middle edge there. Crease that. Next one here. And then the last one here. Okay, and then you're going to do exactly the same thing to this one. So I'm just going to speed this up while I go ahead and make these folds here. Okay, so now I have my 2 pieces of paper folded with 4 points each. So now you're going to need the glue, and you're going to be putting glue on 1/2 of these shapes here. And you don't want to put it on very thick. You want to keep it so that it's going to be tacky and dry pretty quickly. So I just put it, and you want to bring it pretty close to the edge here. And then I'm going to pinch this together by taking the glued portion underneath and bringing this other triangle over the top. And then if you can put your finger in there to press that together, that works good. But if you're doing smaller ones, that's why I said have a chopstick or skewer, because then you can put that inside and then you have something to press against to get that to stick. Okay, so then I'm just going to work my way around and do the same thing to all 4 points. Again, the glued edge goes underneath, and you just pinch that so that the edges line up. Okay, 2 of them are done. Okay, again, push that over and meet those edges when you pinch that each side together there, and press that to get the glue to hold. I mean, the chopstick is nice because you can get all the way down to this edge here. Okay, and then the last one on this piece here. Pinch it closed, down to glue. Okay, so that's one of them done, and if you turn it over, you can see that now it's got some dimension to it there. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the camera while I do this second one here. Okay, so I've got these 2 all folded now, 3-dimensional, and you want to have a cup ready, either a cup or a jar, something that you can rest the star on as it's drying once you're gluing them together. Put that there. And then we're going to put the glue in 8 spots, so 2 on each of the bottoms of the star. And on this, on the first part, I was saying that you should put it on very thinly. On here, you want to put more of a dollop than a thin layer, so you want to kind of put a pretty good dollop of glue there, just at the bottom of each of those. Oops. Because you need a lot of glue because they don't actually lay flat on each other, so it's kind of on an angle. So if you have dollops of glue like that, it's going to fit a little bit better. So then you're going to take this one and put it on top and just line up your, trying to keep the points kind of in the middle. And what I do is I just kind of squeeze it together bottom to top, and then I can kind of check and see how it's lined up here. And if I've got some extra glue here like that, I'll just kind of just take my finger and kind of brush that off, and then have a, if you have a little damp rag handy, that's good. But it's going to dry clear anyway, so it's going to be okay. So once I have this set to where it's in a good position and I can see that the spots are glued, then I'm just going to take it and just rest it right here in a cup like that. And then I would let that dry until you can't see any of the white glue anymore. Then you'll know that it's dry, or just overnight to be sure that it's stuck together. So I've done a lot of different sizes here with different, most of these are painted papers. So this one that I just did was a 6x6 square, and you can see the size of that one. Maybe a little bit big for an ornament, but nice for decoration. To do ornament size, they are a little bit more difficult to do and a little bit fussier, but maybe a 4x4 inch square of paper. I think that's what this little silver one was. And for that, you'll definitely need to be using the skewer or chopstick, because you're not going to be able to get your fingers in there because it's such a small area when you start doing your glued folds. And if you don't particularly care for this kind of pearlescent and shiny, these kinds of colors, I did do a couple where it's a little bit more earthy, and if you're going for more of the rustic colors. This was some wrapping paper that I received. I wouldn't use like really thin wrapping paper, but this was pretty thick wrapping paper, and it looks like it's got bark on there. So I used that, and I think that looks pretty nice. And then also you could just use your brown paper bag. This actually was wrapping paper, but it is like brown craft paper, and it just has some painted white stars on, or excuse me, white dots that were there. So I think even a plain brown bag would look good as well. And then once your star is completely dry, if you want to go ahead and attach a string so that you can hang it, you can either put it down in this section right here, or just glue it right to one of the points so that you can hang it.